We're back on the Sprinter campervan conversion, and today is all about one big moment. In episode 17 you saw us dry fit the shower. Well, today the goal is to get it fitted for good.
Back in episode 17, we dry fit this shower unit into this Sprinter to make sure everything lined up exactly how it should. But dry fitting it is one thing, fully fitting it is another. Getting this shower unit in properly is a big milestone in the build, because it sets the anchor point for everything that follows. But before we get there, there's a few important jobs to do first.
One of the jobs that we need to do before fitting the shower unit into the van is to do a final dry fit outside the van. It's much easier to work outside the vehicle because you're not restricted by the confines of the van itself. You can move all round about the shower unit. If you need to make any changes, you can mark on both sides, you can measure easier. And if something's not fitting right, you know it's because of the structure that you've got in front of you, not because of the weight it's fitting into the shell of the vehicle. Those are two very separate things. So if you can get it right on the floor, then you know that what you've got is good. Then when you come to fit it in the van, if there's any problems, you know that it's the fit going into the vehicle itself rather than the actual structure. And now's the time to iron that out before we do our final fit out and actually screw it into place with our bracketry onto the vehicle.
I'm happy with that.
Before we can fit the unit into the van, we've got our aluminium corner profiles, we've got our internal ceiling, we've got our trunking for our wiring, and we've got our extraction fan to do.
We use a pocket hole jig to allow us to screw the unit together without the use of plastic corner blocks or adding weight with metal brackets. These fixing holes will never be seen, but will provide a strong fixing that will last. A quick measure up confirms the fears that the assembled unit won't fit through the door openings, so it's time to dismantle and rebuild the shower unit inside the van. The bathroom doorway is a high traffic area, so we want to make sure the edging will stand the test of time. For a strong durable finish to the door aperture, we fit these C-channel aluminium extrusions. The alloy channel needs to be mitered into the corners for a neater finish and filed down to remove the burrs from cutting. We then seal them in to avoid fixings and coax them into place with a little persuasion. The longest edge is the one that's fitted first, as it has a mitre on each end and it would prove difficult to fit it last. The remaining side will get a piece of aluminium unequal angle. This will act as a stopper for our camber door and house the magnetic door seal.
Another job that we like to get done before the bathroom goes in is the ceiling. And the reason for this is because it's just a bit more difficult with more structure placed into the vehicle. The boys start this by putting a 12mm slats going across the metal beams in the van. The reason that they do this is because it gives something solid for us to screw into, and it allows us to overhang the beam and provide a support there for our wooden battens that are going to go in between the pillars. We put those wooden battens in place because that gives us somewhere to screw our 6mm sheet onto, and that provides the whole skin which we're then going to stick our surf deck onto. Essentially what we're doing here is building a skeleton that we can then put our face for our ceiling on. Now our surf deck arrives and it's multiple layers of foam with a 3M backing tape on it, so it essentially just sticks up onto the solid surface. To do that we need to provide a solid piece of material for that then to sit onto. So we're building a solid base and a good foundation for our ceiling. We're going to try and do that by using as little material as possible to try and keep weight down, whilst also providing as much strength as possible.
This client has chosen our surf deck ceiling, which is a 4mm CNC'd foam marine decking. The guys start by templating the leading edge to the cab headliner trim. They then cut the length down to finish in the middle of a cross beam and cut out the aperture for the access hatch to the pop-top roof. Our surf deck ceiling option is a popular choice. It cuts a lot of weight from a high point in the van, increases usable interior height, and offers a soft finish. We use a CAD software to template it to each build and create a fully bespoke design tailored to each client's needs. It comes with a 3M backing and needs a solid flat base to adhere to, So this is why we're fabricating a 6mm sub-ceiling. This will keep the finished surface running flat and smooth. The guys use some acro props to help with the test fit, but before that goes in, we've got some wiring to lay down first.
When it comes to the power in your vehicle, you're always going to have your battery bank on one side of the vehicle, but you're also going to have electrical appliances on the other side, and you're going to need to get those wires from one side to the other side of your vehicle. Now you can either do this one of two ways. You can either go across the ceiling or you can go under the floor. We don't like to go under the floor because we like to think in the future somebody might screw down through the floor into a cable, not knowing where it's positioned if they wanted to secure something else down. We like to put them through the ceiling because there's less chance of that, and the easiest way to do that is through trunking. That's going to allow you one tube in which you can pass wires through in one direction. They're always going to end up coming out at the other end. With the main structural skeleton finished in the roof, now we're going to pack those cavities with insulation. Here we're going to use Dodo fleece insulation. It's made up of recycled plastic bottles, and so it doesn't actually hold any water. If any water was to get into those panels, the water's just going to drip out the bottom. It's not going to be held like a sponge like you would do with fiberglass wool per se. This type of insulation works by holding pockets of air, and if you overpack it, you're squeezing those pockets of air smaller and compressing them to the point that they're not going to hold any heat. So actually, in this instance, less is more.
With the insulation in place, it's time to get the sub-ceiling fixed in. You can see now why the trunking is necessary. You'd really struggle to route a wire across the ceiling without it.
We're finally doing our last fit of this shower room. It's not just a shower room, it's also a wet room. The reason we know it can only be the last fit is because we're actually sealing it together, not just screwing it together. Now we fit these shower rooms in two different ways. We can use either aluminium corner profile to fit the corners, or we can use pocket holes. We don't like to show physical fittings. We like everything to just fit nicely and not be able to see any fixings afterwards. Especially in a wet room, you don't want to see any metal work. So we've got the aluminium corner profiles on one side, which have a 15mm slot, which fits perfectly to this furniture board. The edge of the furniture board is open wood grain. So we're going to take care of that with some BT1, which is a polymer sealant and an adhesive. It's perfect for wet rooms because it's also antifungal, so you're not going to get any mold growing in the corners of your bathroom, which is a big no-no. Now these are going to bond straight into that aluminium profile. It will never come off, and it will give us a nice soft curved finish on the outside. The reason we're doing a different joint on the other side is because we're also adding a secondary cupboard onto the outside of that. And if we're to use an aluminium corner profile, we'd have to step that second front face backwards because it wouldn't sit nice onto the curved feature in the front. So we're doing a butt joint so we can continue that front face at the same level all the way across. Now we're doing pocket hole screws into that face, and so it looks like they're going to be open, but there's going to be a piece covering over the front of that, so it's all going to be hidden nicely away from view. With the bathroom now in place, it starts to get really exciting because you can start to visualize the rest of the camper space. Everything additional gets put in from here only makes it better, and you can start to see proper physical changes for everything that you do. The next stage after this is the cupboard that bolts onto the side of the bathroom, and then there's going to be a small gantry cupboard that comes off of that. And then that's really that whole side for built-in furniture finished. After that, we can start working on the kitchen, which will really fill the space out, and then the bed goes in as the final piece. Next on the list right now, we need to take care of the extractor, because in a wet room like this, it's going to be a very warm, moist environment, and that's a perfect breeding ground for mold and bacteria. The last thing we want is to have fungus growing in the bathroom, so we're going to get rid of all that hot, wet vapour, and we're going to exit it out the side of the van. This vehicle has a pop-top roof, so we can't go out through the roof, so it has to go out through the side, and now's the time to do that.
Once the edges are smoothed down, then the bathroom unit can be moved back into place to mark up the back panel. The bathroom is then moved back into place, and the ventilation tube is marked up and shortened to the right length. Now that we're happy with the position, we can begin securing the bathroom to the floor and sidewall. This will be enough just now to hold the position of the unit. We'll need to wait until our surf deck is fitted before we can fit the shadow gap at the ceiling level. This will allow us to anchor onto the roof with angle brackets. Now that everything is fitted and secured to the floor, it's time to check everything fits within the shower unit, so Stu puts everything back together for one final time.
Our bathroom is in place. We've got holes cut out through the side of the van, everything is located and it's all bolted on, which is absolutely great. What that's going to do is allow us to then finish the interior ceiling in here, which will finish off that whole area. We have cut out the aperture for our aircon unit and we've got a packer in there. So on the roof doesn't sit nice and flat. You'll have noticed that there's small ridges for the structural support of the roof. Now, if you put an aircon unit or even a skylight or a fan on the top, that's going to sit on the top of those ridges rather than sitting down onto the base. And it's going to leave you gaps round about, which if you want to fill, you can, but it's going to probably lead to water ingress over time. So we put a packer in there, which is cut to the shape, and that gives us a nice flat base that we can then mount that aircon unit on. So that's all been put in and fitted. We've got our supportive structure round about that we can mount that onto. Our internal ceiling can now go up, and that's going to allow me to come in this afternoon, measure up and create my CAD file, which I can then send off to the surf deck company to print off our interior ceiling. And with that all said and done, this job is going to be finished from head up. We can then start focusing on the rest of the furniture units. We've got our kitchen to go in, we've got our long gantry on this side, we've got a cupboard coming off the side of this bathroom here that we briefly touched on. It's going to sit flush onto here. It's not going to be a full length down to the floor cupboard for very good reason. That on the bottom here we have a rib bed going in. Now with the rib bed, if you're familiar with them, the back cushion folds down and it lifts up when it's just in the seating position. So what that means is you need to have allowable space at the back to let that happen. But we don't want this all just to be dead space. So the client has worked with us and we've designed a two compartment cupboard to go up at the top here, and it's going to allow enough room for that back cushion to come down and make up the bed. So it's onwards and upwards with this van. Lots of big visual impacts when we start putting the furniture pieces in, and lots of big changes to come. So yeah, very exciting times.
That's the bathroom unit now in place in this Sprinter, and it's definitely one of those stages in a campervan build where things start to feel a lot more real. Up until this point, a lot of the work has been about preparation, test fitting, measuring, adjusting, and making sure every detail is going to work not just on its own, but with everything else around it. And that's a big part of what a proper campervan conversion is really like. A lot of the important progress doesn't always come from the flashy jobs. It comes from getting the groundwork right so that when the bigger components do go in, they fit as they should and they last. That's exactly what this stage has been about. We started by dry fitting the bathroom unit outside the van, just to give ourselves the room to build it properly. And from there, it was a case of working through each of the smaller jobs that all needed to happen before the final fit could even begin. That meant thinking about how the unit would actually go into the van, getting the doorway edges finished properly, preparing the ceiling panel, sorting wiring routes, and cutting for extraction, and then finally getting the whole thing secured into position. None of those jobs on their own are a headline moment, but together they're what make the headline moment possible. And that's often how these builds go. People tend to look at the finished campervan and see the big features like the shower, kitchen, the bed system, or the upholstery. But what really makes a conversion feel solid and well thought through is everything underneath that. Because in a campervan, nothing really exists in isolation. One area affects another. A bathroom placement influences the ceiling, the wall finishes, ventilation, and how the rest of the layout comes together. So when you reach a point like this, it's not just about getting a bathroom fitted, it's about creating one of the key anchor points for the rest of the build. And visually it makes a big difference too. Once a unit like this is in, the van starts to shift from looking like a project into looking more like a finished living space. you can start to properly picture how it's all going to work, how it feels to use, and where the whole build is heading. There's still plenty to do from here, and as always, it's in the finishing details that really bring everything to life. But this is a big step forward. The bathroom is in, the build keeps moving, and the Sprinter is getting closer and closer to becoming the complete Wildworx campervan. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.